every night of a show, I write out in my notebook my set list. And then I'll also include things like if I have a new joke or like, I'll use that time, that hour or so to like, I'll go into this notebook and then pull out an idea and be like, oh, you know what? Okay, here's a funny idea that I haven't tried yet. I'm doing a 45-minute set. Let me sit for 15 minutes as I'm putting my set together, and then be like, okay, I think I want to tell this story, or try this on stage, and then try this joke. So I'll put that in there, and then I try to flesh that out. What I would do is I'll like lay down on my bed, right, and I just like lay down. I bring my laptop, and I bring my notebook that I'm writing on. I bring my other notebook that has like my list of jokes, and it's probably like I usually have 2 notebooks where I go back and forth just so I can like look at last night's set in that notebook, so then I just write it in and just list it for that night. And so I just have this list of all my jokes, but then I have my laptop, and the first thing I do is open up to Twitter, and I just look at my feed from like the last 2 weeks, and I just scroll through, and I'm like, is there anything that like got a lot of hits or just something that I really like that I think could work?
Yeah.
And that's the first place I go to. And then I write down maybe like, I might pick like 4 or 5 of those jokes, those jokes from like the last week. Okay, I like those. And I put those kind of in the running.
Yeah.
So I usually have 2 pages of, let's see if I can find an example here. 2 pages of notes when I'm doing my, like this one here. This is one of the last jokes I did, where like the first side, I write down, these are all the jokes that I think I want to do. They're all in the running. So like that's, and you notice they're all crossed out.
Yeah.
So like I just make 3 these are just all the jokes that it's kind of my wish list. So here's where I'll make bullet points of like jokes from my Moleskine, jokes from Twitter. I'll write those, and then jokes from my regular set list that I've been doing for the past few weeks.
Okay.
And then this is my wish list of like, here are all the jokes that I think I might want to do tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Then then what I do is I take that, and then I just restructure them into my actual set list of like, because this is just of like jokes as they occur to me, or like, here are a couple of my Twitter jokes, here's some things I'm trying out, and then here's just 2 jokes that I think I want to do.
Okay.
And then let's take these, and now I'm going to put them in the right order. Like, okay, I want to start with this joke, so I put it over here, then this joke's going to be number 2, and then I just cross these out.
Oh, okay.
As I go.
Yeah.
I just tried to be on stage as much as possible, that it was like, I almost didn't need to rewrite, because it was like, okay, so I did this early show. Let me just, that line didn't really work, so let me just drop that line and then streamline it here. Like, hey, this line really seemed to go well. Can I say something more about that? So I'll just try it there. And then it's just like, I'm always up on stage. So like each night, if I'm doing it every night, like I'm just always making my set list. And during that set list time is when I'm like, bullet point, okay, that was good. That was good. They didn't like that line, so I'll take that out. And, so I do it that way. And then it's just that feel of on stage of like, I tend to be the guy who like, I think of myself as somebody who likes to be prepared and writes things ahead of time. But like, I think I definitely do write it on stage, and it does over the course of, 100 shows, a joke becomes streamlined, it becomes worn down, it gets a couple things are added to it, because I find a tagline for it, and I just got that tagline down. So it's not a thing where I'm not somebody who writes it out verbatim in a notebook. It's those ideas bullet pointed. And I always do this, and I always sit down, especially over mics, I'll sit down and I'll circle, because it's all bullet pointed. So I circle the ones, and this isn't a great scientific thing, but like, just like, I'll really circle the ones that like, boy, this got a big laugh. Or like, I'll kind of give a little circle if it didn't, or like this one, it'll just be like, oh, it didn't get a laugh. And then I put a line through any jokes or lines that I didn't do and I didn't get to. So then I really focus, I hone in a little bit more on those, like the big ones. And, and those are the ones that then, okay, if it was 8 lines, can I boil it down to 4 lines?
Yeah.
And what are the funniest 4 lines? Unless it's a real important part of the exposition of the joke. Let's cut the fat and get to the ones that, time after time really get those big laughs. And every once in a while there will be, as every once in a while I'll have a joke, and then I say something, gets big laugh or whatever, and then I just think of a tagline.
Yeah.
And a tagline will add stuff to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes too, it's the other way too, where it's like I have a joke and it goes all right, but like I realize that like, oh, actually, the first half of the joke is great. The second half is a little sluggish, or vice versa. So like after a while, it's like, oh, you know what I realized? That's not gonna be a 90-second bit. It's gonna be a one-liner now.
Yeah.